we have a MetaGoblin video I wanted to watch today talking about faction balance in Season of Discovery. Let me full screen this. Full screen.
Discovery, Blizzard introduced a new revolutionary approach to server population, something that I actually suggested in my videos years and years ago, so it's nice to see that Blizzard are listening. And that is obviously the faction lockout system. If too many people are on one particular faction...
Chat, do you think the forced faction balance mechanism implemented in Season of Discovery has been a success? Has it been good for the game? On PvP servers, personally, I think so. I think it has helped PvP servers a lot. I think so. Like, you can actually tell looking at ironforge.pro. I'm sure he's going to show this in the video. Every single Season of Discovery PvP server is pretty much exactly 50-50. Look at this. Yeah. Living Flame EU PvP. Lone Wolf EU PvP. Wow. Within like a 1% margin, they are all 50-50. It's crazy. This has worked. And as far as I know, this is the first time that Blizzard has ever done this. I don't think in any version of the game over the last 20 years outside of SOD, they have done a forced faction balance like this. Some private servers have done it, but I don't think that anyone has done it in Blizzard.
The game will prevent you from making a new character on that faction if you don't already have one. It's really quite a simple system, but has it worked? And what have been the downsides? Okay. Well, if we look at server population on Ironforge Pro, this, by the way, estimates a server's population by looking at logged characters on Warcraft logs. So it appears that it's actually done quite a surprisingly good job. The majority of the PvP servers are a solid 50-50 split in population, or at least very close. Every server has a healthy Horde and Alliance population. Now, the only exception to this is the PvE servers. This is always to be expected though. I mean, players who only care about PvE are always more likely to go Alliance because the ratios are better. People really don't want to give up Fear Ward and a Blessing of Salve. But let's be honest, if you play on a PvE server, you probably don't care about world PvP, so despite the fact that Horde are underpopulated, at least it won't make the game unplayable in the...
You know, even though all the PvP servers are balanced, you know what they did something very smart about the STV PvP event I've never really thought about? You can have a healthy, successful STV PvP event independent of faction balance. You could have a server that is 100% Alliance, 0% Horde, and the STV event would still be awesome. It doesn't matter, right? And that's I think that's actually a smart point of design.
The open world. If you guys are taking advantage of that experience boost that just dropped today, the best, fastest leveling add-on is definitely Rested XP.
Yep.
The routes are so good that, in my experience, when you have the add-on on and you just do everything that it tells you to do, you do get an extra 10k XP per hour. Be sure to check it out in the description, and guys, if you subscribe, you'll also get instant access to my weapon progression guide for leveling. Just go to my channel page after you've subscribed and you will see it there in my subscriber only video. There are obviously going to be problems on these PvE servers when it comes to the new World PvP events. Obviously, currently we have Ashenvale and possible future events anyway, because the STV PvP event won't be affected by faction problems. These servers will likely become full Alliance servers as time goes on, and the whole population will dwindle to the point where the World PvP events will just aren't fun for Alliance or Horde. In the future, they could actually just become unplayable. Unfortunately, I'm honestly not sure anything can be done about it. PvE servers will always be dominated by Alliance no matter what you do. Blizzard would have to rebalance and change racials to make any significant change, but realistically, I don't think anyone wants to.
Really, the big reason why Alliance is more popular in Vanilla WoW is why it's because Paladins are, one, super good, and I think two, Paladins have like a huge amount of class fantasy that a lot of people identify with, right?
You know, wants that to happen. It's been a
But now the Horde, let me think about the current state of SOD. The Horde has pretty much every good buff that Paladins provide. Hunters bring the 10% King's buff. I think there's some threat thing also. Yes, threat is like less of a problem. So now it's like you don't really lose a whole lot by being Horde that Paladins traditionally bring. Yeah.
Practice of private servers to provide the unpopular faction with incentives for players to roll that faction, such as reduced mount cost and increased XP. Something like this in place could at least prevent the whole population on these servers from totally dying. But it really depends on how much pressure the devs are under from upper management to make profits. the devs can create server problems intentionally like they have historically done in order to encourage more people to pay for server transfers, or they can develop features to fix them. Honestly, the faction lockout is a surprising move from Blizzard. In the long term, they are going to make less profit from server transfers. It's not characteristic for Blizzard to take a less greedy approach.
Do they even have server transfers for Season of Discovery? Like, I don't even know if they have those. Let me see something here. Yeah, I didn't think so. Like, if I wanted to transfer from Crusader Strike PvP over to like Chaos Bolt, it's the same server type, same region, right? I think. I don't even think you could do it. So yeah, they're not even offering that service.
Maybe they are finally seeing the sense in making a high quality product to keep players invested, to therefore keep paying that sub fee. Because in my humble opinion, that would make more profit in the long term for a company. But Blizzard have always taken a very greedy approach to their business model, especially since the Activision takeover. They have a get-rich-quick mindset rather than thinking for long-term stability. I mean, why do you think there have been so many mass layoffs in the company?
To be fair, chat, would you rather get rich fast or get rich slow? If you had to pick one with no additional information, I'd rather get rich fast.
Over the past 5 years. As we know from interviewing a game master, the whole office in Versailles in France was shut down despite the fact that the company made profit that year. And it's funny because after the second most recent layoffs, a year later, all of those jobs that people were sacked from, they were magically reposted to Blizzard's website on cheaper salaries. And you can bet that the exact same will happen in a year's time for the recent layoffs. But so far with Season of Discovery,
Did you guys hear about that? This is actually true. Imagine I'm Blizzard. Hey, listen, you've been working as a Blizzard customer service agent for 3 or 4 years now. We've been paying you $40,000 a year. We want you to know that we're going to have to let you go. Also, though, I would like to let you know that we are actually rehiring for the position that you just got fired from, and the going rate is $27,000 a year. Would you be interested in having the job? They actually quite literally did that.
Doesn't feel like a greedy approach has been taken for once. It generally feels like the devs want to make a high quality game. They are listening to player feedback to support that reality, and they are banning gold, farming bots faster and more effective than usual, although it is obviously still a big problem. But it's much better than when you...
Okay, so this is a bot client. No row. So you can spell ID, spell rank. I've never seen this before. Player health, min max, target health. So you can say like, okay, when I am at 50% HP, we're gonna use this ability. When the target is at this percent HP, we're gonna use this ability. Crazy. When I have this much energy, we use this ability. That's pretty crazy. That is wild.
You compare it to Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Another problem with a faction lockout system is it does unfortunately mean many players get into this situation where they can't re-roll with their friends, or play on the server and the faction that they want to. It can also cause complications when a certain loyal guild member is returning to the game and, they can't actually return to the game and play with their old guild because of a locked out of playing the faction that their guild is playing. I understand that it can be very frustrating, it restricts people greatly, but when you look at how good the faction balance currently is, it's hard not to say that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
I would guess that they have like a 3 or 4% wiggle room, don't you think? Yeah, like I would, this is kind of hard to explain, but yeah, like let's say this is Horde faction population on this server, and this is like Alliance faction population on this server, okay? I would guess that this, okay, listen, now we can accommodate Horde players. Horde character creation is up to this point. We're going to let people make characters. Okay, so people have made Horde characters now. Now we're going to open up Alliance character creation up to this point. And they have like a stepping stone system, right? Okay, Alliance have caught up and actually surpassed Horde a little bit. Okay, we're going to let people make characters up to this point for the Horde now. It's Horde's turn again. That's at least how I would do it. I don't know, but that would be my guess.
It's very important for the vanilla version of a game especially to have a strong and balanced faction population.
Yep.
It's less important when the game becomes a pure theme park MMO. Let's be honest, that basically happened by the time Wrath turned up. I don't think there's much you can really do with these alliance-dominated PvE servers because they're always going to be like that. It's always going to be the reality. But maybe some XP increase incentive to like 200% instead of 100% on the Horde side would at least prevent the Horde population on those servers from totally dying out by the end of the year. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I think one of the big things that Blizzard are doing with Season of Discovery is obviously experimenting with things. They're experimenting with in-game changes, but also things like the server changes. And I personally think that this experiment of faction lockout, it has worked quite well. You just have to think back to the original Classic WoW and how bad faction imbalance was back then. I mean, it was pretty atrocious. It got to a point where Phase 2 dropped and it was actually totally unplayable because people, you know, there's no battlegrounds back then and people wanted to farm honor in the open world, and yeah, you couldn't even go out in the open world and quest. It was that bad because of my server back in the day, which was Shazra EU, that yeah, there was like 7% Horde, 30% Alliance. And
I'll never forget farming Blackrock Mountain like 20 hours a day at the bottom of the chain, just farming HKs. That I'll never forget. It was 3 weeks long. Open world PvP ranking was 3 weeks long, and that was like the worst 3 weeks of my life, dude. It was so bad. Ranking that way, trying to farm honor in the open world, it was so brutal.
Horde, 30% Alliance, and we couldn't even play the game.
It was fun for a week, and then the other 2 weeks.
And obviously, right now, it isn't like that. The game is playable on a PvP server. But anyway, my name is MetaGoblin. Until my next video, ciao.
Ciao. All right, great video. Yeah, no, it's true. They did this. I think it's been a success. I think it's been a success.